Arsenal returned to full training with a sharp, intense atmosphere at London Colney, as Mikel Arteta oversaw preparations for the Chelsea clash, and the session reflected a squad balancing confidence, caution, and competitive edge. Starting with Bukayo Saka, whose situation remains the most closely monitored after a minor hip issue limited him in previous warm-ups. Yet sources around training indicate he has been involved in controlled drills, avoiding overload while showing no visible discomfort, meaning Arsenal are optimistic but cautious, fully aware of his importance both creatively and psychologically. Gabriel Martinelli, by contrast, trained at full intensity and looks in strong form, carrying momentum from recent performances where his direct running and pressing have stood out, while Gabriel Jesus also participated fully, sharp in small-sided games and link-up play, though Arsenal continue to manage his minutes carefully to avoid muscular setbacks. Kai Havertz trained normally and appears physically strong, offering Arteta flexibility across midfield and attack, while Noni Madueke, who has impressed in recent outings, looked lively and confident in training, staking a real claim should Saka be preserved, his pace and confidence on the ball making him a genuine tactical alternative. In midfield, Declan Rice was once again the engine of the session, fully fit and training without restrictions, his leadership evident in positional drills, while Martin Odegaard looked back to rhythm, sharp between the lines and vocal in organizing pressing triggers, suggesting he is ready for a central role if selected. The major absence remains Michael Merino, whose fractured foot and upcoming surgery rule him out entirely, forcing Arsenal to adjust midfield balance in training with alternative combinations, including deeper positioning for Rice and more creative responsibility for Odegaard, while rotation options trained with added focus to compensate for Merino's absence. Defensively, William Saliba trained fully and looks composed with no lingering issues, partnering confidently in drills with his defensive colleagues, while Ben White, who continues to show consistency and tactical intelligence, trained without issue and appears a near certainty to feature, especially given his understanding of Arteta's system. At left back, Riccardo Calafiori returned to full team training after earlier concerns and looked sharp in positional work, though Arsenal remained mindful of load management, while other defensive options such as Miles Lewis-Skelly participated actively, offering youthful energy and depth from the bench. Piero Hincapié, however, remains unavailable and did not train with the group, leaving Arsenal short of one versatile defensive option. In goal, Kepa Arrizabalaga trained confidently and is expected to start in the cup, showing good distribution in drills, while David Raya also trained fully, maintaining competition and readiness. Across the squad, there were no fresh injury scares, and the overall tone of training suggested a group aware of the stakes but not weighed down by pressure, with Arteta emphasizing compactness, controlled aggression, and transitional speed, particularly in drills designed to counter Chelsea's athletic midfield and wide threats. Players coming off strong recent form looked confident, while those returning from minor issues were clearly being managed intelligently, with medical staff closely involved. Tactically, Arsenal's training sessions reflected adaptability, preparing both for a high-press scenario and for phases of controlled possession, with emphasis on defensive shape should Chelsea push aggressively. And this flexibility is mirrored in individual player situations, where form and fitness will dictate late decisions. Overall, Arsenal head into the Chelsea match with the majority of the squad fit, key players either in good form or improving physically, and only Merino and Hincapié ruled out, leaving Arteta with selection dilemmas rather than selection problems. And training this week has reinforced the sense of readiness, focus, and internal competition that defines this Arsenal side at a crucial moment in the season. Mikel Merino's absence from Arsenal's squad has rapidly transformed from a tactical blow into a strategic crossroads for the club's short-term season ambitions and long-term planning. With Merino now facing a fractured right foot that requires surgery and an extended layoff, possibly ruling him out for the remainder of the 2025/26 campaign, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has openly acknowledged that his side is actively looking at options in the final hours of the winter transfer window to replace the Spain international. This admission marks a clear shift in Arsenal's transfer approach. In recent years, the club has often operated with a tightly managed squad balance, preferring not to make panic buys and instead showing faith in existing depth. But losing a key midfielder like Merino, who has started regularly and contributed both goals and tactical stability across multiple competitions, has forced Arsenal's hand at a moment when every available transfer option matters. Arteta's comments underline the urgency of the situation. We are actively looking at options and we will continue to do that. When you lose a big player like this with 4 months to go and all the competitions to play for, you need to look and we need to do everything we possibly can to see if a player is available, and if not, we keep what we have. There are several important layers to unpack in that statement. First, the timeline. Arsenal still have a significant portion of the season ahead, including the Premier League title race, the Champions League knockout stages, and domestic cup competitions. With Merino's absence leaving a tactical vacuum in the midfield, the club's leadership recognizes that they cannot simply ride out this setback without considering reinforcements. Second, Arteta's remarks make it clear that Arsenal's pursuit isn't a guarantee but a contingent exploration. The manager emphasized that any new signing must be someone who can adapt immediately and impact the team, a qualification that narrows potential targets sharply. This reflects an understanding of his tactical system, one that requires midfielders not only to be technically strong, but also to grasp specific positional roles under pressure. Finally, the comments reflect the delicate balance Arsenal are trying to strike between squad confidence and squad necessity. Arteta did not suggest that a replacement will definitely arrive. Rather, he framed the club's actions as responsible due diligence in the transfer market. Despite having invested heavily in the summer, including key additions like Martin Zubimendi and Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal's depth was still tested last season when injuries disrupted momentum, and the managerial hierarchy is keen to avoid a repeat. What Merino's injury means for Arsenal's midfield. To fully understand why Arsenal are considering an external replacement, it helps to appreciate exactly what Merino brought to the team. Before his injury, he had scored 6 goals in 33 appearances across all competitions. A strong return for a midfielder, and was regularly trusted with both defensive responsibilities and transitioning play and possession. Merino's role was more than just interchanging passes. He was a stabilizing force in midfield and a conduit between Arsenal's defense and attack. His absence removes a layer of structure that Arteta's system thrives on, particularly against teams that press aggressively or transition quickly. As a result, Arsenal have to consider whether their remaining squad, which still includes quality players but often ones with slightly different profiles, can replicate what Merino offered. This challenge is important because Arsenal's tactical framework emphasizes compactness, tempo control, and coordinated pressing. Players like Bukayo Saka, Eberechi Esse, and Noni Madueke provide offensive firepower, but the midfield needs both defensive balance and creative fluency to support them. Losing Merino means that Arsenal now have to reorganize midfield duties and potentially place greater responsibility on other players, some of whom are less experienced or differently specialized. The deadline day reality. One of the biggest hurdles Arsenal face is simply the timing. The winter transfer window closes imminently, and while Arteta has confirmed the club are exploring options, identifying, negotiating, and completing a deal within the final hours of a deadline is always difficult, even for well-resourced clubs like Arsenal. The manager's emphasis on a player who can immediately adapt is crucial here. It underscores that Arsenal are not merely looking for a warm body to fill Merino's place, but someone who can contribute instantly to their tactical setup. This restricts viable options to players already accustomed to Premier League intensity or those with experience in similar tactical systems. Scouting, valuations, wage negotiations, and the other intricacies of transfer deals compress into a much tighter time frame, increasing the complexity of any potential arrival. Media reports and fan discussions suggest varying expectations about whether Arsenal will actually secure a replacement. Some sources hint that a surprise replacement has been identified, though details remain unclear. Other commentary proposes that Arsenal could instead rely on internal options, or even promote from within the academy if no suitable external signing materializes before the window shuts.